spending plan for here going forward. Okay? Because budget, sometimes people don't like that. So we're going to talk about a spending plan. So you have workbooks. So we're going to dig into those here momentarily. But first, let me click this. Okay. So these are the goals for today, for this evening, right? So we're going to determine obstacles to creating a budget. Next, we're going to create a format to track and analyze your spending. We'll talk about goals, short-term and long-term. And then we'll discuss the importance of debt reduction and emergency savings. And then we'll wrap it up with applying strategies to manage your day-to-day spending. Okay, let's talk about the benefits of having a spending plan. As you can see here, daily budgeting has a positive effect on us, okay? It helps us with paying bills with more ease. We can pay down our debts. We can meet our short and long-term goals, save for emergencies, and it reduces stress. So with financial security comes the freedom to enjoy your life. Okay, so does anyone here work in a place where you have to organize people, organize materials, or maybe you keep the books for a company, or maybe you work at a cash register? Does anyone do anything like that? You do? Okay, what do you do? Where do you work and what do you do? All right, getting our microphone working over here.
Hi.
Hi.
So my name is Robin. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Robin.
So I just started working at UNT as their communications specialist. And so basically what I'll be doing is helping with our social media, creating content for social media, also with our tracking our analytics and everything else in between that they may need.
Wow. Wow, that sounds like fun. Tracking analytics. So it sounds like you have to stay pretty organized.
Yes.
Is it easier to stay organized at work versus at home?
For me, it's kind of the same.
Okay, good. Good
Yes.
for you. Good for you. For most people, it's easier in the workplace. Okay? So anyone else, thank you very much for sharing. Does anyone find it when it's easier to stay more organized at work than it is at home? Yes? I see some hands in the back. Okay, very good. So I'll give you a personal example. So prior to entering the financial world, I worked for a large coffee corporation. You may know who they are, but I'm not going to share their name right now. But I was in charge of a large portfolio, talking about a $50 million portfolio. I did much better managing that portfolio than I did my own personal portfolio. Why do you think that is? Sir? Yeah, I saw you. You wanted to answer? If you don't mind.
Because your job is at stake.
What's that?
Your job is at stake?
My job was at stake, sure, because if I didn't do my job, then I didn't have a paycheck, right? But, so let's go a little deeper. So it was their money. It was the corporation's money. I did great managing their money. Fantastic. It wasn't my money. My money, I didn't do so well. Why do you think that is? Why do you guys think that is? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, and if you have a loud voice, you can speak it, or you can come on up.
Because you have no one seeing you and overseeing what you're doing with your money.
Oh, now we're
so you
getting
give yourself
somewhere.
More leniency.
Right. There's no one overseeing me except for me. You know the other thing too? I was emotional about my money. Right? At work, I use this because I wasn't emotionally attached to that money. My money? I'm emotionally attached to my money. Who's emotionally attached to their money? Ah, very good. That's why we tell people, I will do a better job managing your money because I'm not emotional about your money. I will use my brain, my analytics, the experts, okay? You'll use your heart. So Does that make sense? All right, very good, very good. So that's why people sometimes are successful doing budget-related activities at work. They're better than doing them at home. Okay. So why don't we budget? So you can see here, I don't want to think about the future. Is anybody there? They don't want to think about the future? Okay. It's too complicated. It takes too much time. My income and spending is not enough. I'd rather just keep doing what I'm doing. I have no self-control. So this is where I want you to turn in your workbooks, page 3. And so you're not sharing this with anyone. You're just sharing it with yourself. So we just said a little while ago, it's hard because no one's keeping an eye on me when I'm managing my own budget. So this is an opportunity for you to write down what obstacles exist for you that keeps you from creating a spending plan. So take about a minute, and in your book, start writing some of that down. And for those of you that are just joining us, we do have new workbooks this week, so make sure you grab one. If you need to, Tim can get you one. Okay, let's start to wrap that up. And you don't have to share, but if anyone would like to share, you know, what's an obstacle for you? Yes, sir, in the back. Oh, a lack of time. Okay, so because you look like you go to school, you probably work as well. You probably spend time with friends. Okay, very good. Lack of time. Okay, very good. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Thank you. You get overwhelmed. Where do you start? How do you start? Which budgeting tool do you use? There's a bunch of them out there. Thank you. Anyone else? You okay? Yep, absolutely. You agree? Okay. Well, get ready because you're about to do some work in a minute. Okay. So, all right, very good. I'm glad you're sharing and you guys are being open about that. All right, let's go on right here. Let's talk about goal setting. Okay. You got to have goals, right? Whether you're working out, you want to lose some weight, you want to graduate from high school, you want to graduate from college, or you want to get that next job, you got to have goals, right? So that's what we're talking about here. So there's short-term goals, there's mid-term goals, and then there's long-term goals, okay? So here's an example of some short-term goals. Paying off a credit card, setting up emergency savings, saving for a vacation. Midterm, buying a car, down payment on a home, paying off some debt. And then long term, saving for retirement, paying off a house, paying off that 30-year loan, and then maybe creating a college savings fund as an example, like when you have kids. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go into that same workbook, and you're going to go to the section where it talks about goal setting. Okay? Should be down at the bottom. Does everyone have a pen? Okay. And I'm going to look at my notes here to make sure I'm following along with you. And on that page right there at the bottom, we're going to start to write down some goals. And there's an example right there for you to start you off. And then, there's some examples here. So let's start to write down some goals. And if you're stuck right now, I don't know where to start. This is why we're doing this. All right, so I'll give you about a minute. Hello. All right, I hope you got some good goals because I want you to share. Give you about 30 more seconds. And I'm going to come down here. I'm going to grab a workbook so I can follow along with you. Thank you, sir. Okay, let's talk about goal setting. Who would like to share some goals? Okay, go ahead. Pay off your car. That's a great goal. Okay, very good. Maybe we'll get deeper into that momentarily. Who else wants to share a goal? Yes, ma'am? I love it. Fantastic. I love it. $3,000 in savings account. Fantastic. Anyone else? Yes? Yeah, so goals in regards to savings. You can I get an amen? You want to pay off the student loan? All right. Does anyone else here have student loans? Okay, that should be on your list, okay, as a goal to pay off your student loan. Very good. Anything else? So build some savings, pay off a car, pay off a student loan. What about other goals? Because it's not just about paying off stuff. Yes? Oh, you have a goal of setting aside some money for opportunities. That's fantastic, right? That's a growth mindset. All right, very good. All right, I think we're good. Unless someone has one really good one, we're gonna move along here. Okay, let's go on to page number 4. We're going to talk about organizing our financial documents. So here, you're going to list your sources of income. Okay? So if you work, you're going to put your income here and how much you bring home each month. Not your gross, but how much you bring home each month. Okay? And then think about, if you have a part-time job, you have a full-time job. If you have a full-time job and then you Uber on the weekends or you do something else on the side for extra money, maybe you do some artwork and you sell that, you play music on the weekends, you get paid for that. Think of all the income you have coming in, okay? And I want you to list that here. So I'll give you about 60 seconds to do that. We're all getting to, we're trying to make a point here. So first we need to list our income. Does anybody have questions about that? So remember, it's the amount after taxes, because that's what you take to the bank. Are we good here? Has everyone listed their income? Okay, now we're going to list our expenses. You're going to get a little more time on this. So it says here, list all your monthly expenses. This will include expenses in the following categories. So home, for example, if you have, you pay rent, you'd put that on here. If you have a house and you pay a mortgage, you would put that here. Utilities, we're going to list that here. And then you'll notice it says month 1, month 2, month 3, because we want to get an average. Things like rent, it's going to be the same all 3 months. However, electricity, can it go up and down? Yes. Hopefully this week we won't use the heater as much, okay, because it's warming up just a little bit. So you can see here food, groceries, coffee, snacks. Really, we're going to spend a little bit of time here because I really want you guys to spend some time on this, because if we're going to get to where we want to go, we need to do some work on this page. So family, if there's child daycare, if you have kids, there's school supplies, transportation, So not just gas, there's car insurance, so on and so forth, health, and then you can read the rest of those. And so I'm going to give you, we're going to spend a couple of minutes on this, maybe about 3 minutes or so. And I'm going to be right here if you have any questions. Does anyone have questions? So make sure you think about the leisure section, entertainment. Get all those subscriptions in there. Netflix, Hulu, Paramount, Spotify. There's a free one, you know. But you're probably like me. You pay for the one without commercials. We could probably do the free. Okay, we won't get into that right now. But yes. Yep, all those subscriptions. Apple Music, Apple TV. What is that? Yeah, I paused my Hulu today because I was like, I haven't used this thing in 3 months. So. Okay, are we starting to get there? As you think of stuff, go ahead and write it on there, okay? Because as we go through this, you may be like, oh, wait, I didn't think about that. So in order to make sure that we are not forgetting something, let's share a little bit. You don't have to share how much you pay and that type of thing, but let's talk about home. So I guess most everyone has their house payment, their rent in there, right? We got gas, we got electricity, we've got water. What else? Oh, what about like in some places the trash service is separate? Anything else with the house that we're forgetting? Does anyone have their lawns mowed? Okay, good. All right, let's move on to food. You got groceries. You got your weekly groceries. If you go to Starbucks every day, you need to put it on here, okay? Snacks. Dining out, Chick-fil-A, all of that. Make sure that all goes right in there. Everything. All kinds of beverages, if you know what I mean. Okay. Family. Does anyone have children here? Okay. All right. Good. See, you're saving money already. Okay. Transportation. Of course, there's gas for your car maintenance. You know, if you take public transportation, there's that. Health. You know, there's health insurance premiums, that type of thing. Leisure, we talked about all that. Entertainment, subscriptions. Okay, does anyone have something that we haven't talked about? Yes. Okay. Yes, definitely make sure that's in the leisure section. Okay? Yes, no, but you're right. Fun money. But try to be specific about what it is. And you can group it. If it's going out with friends and stuff like that, you can put it in there. Anything else we haven't thought of? Okay, we'll move along here. Next page, debts. So you're on page 6. If you're following along here, listing your debts will help you create a plan to pay them off. So the house mortgage was on the previous page, rent was on the previous page. So what you're going to list here is car payment, student loans, credit cards, installment loans, payday loans. If you owe somebody money, mom and dad. If you know your APR, let's go ahead and put that on there. If you're like, well, I don't know what that is. Well, if it's a credit card, there's an app. You can go to the app. It'll tell you what you're paying, your annual percentage rate. This is important. Yes, ma'am. If you don't use it all the time, then if you don't use it all the time, you just use it when you need to, then you probably don't need to list it. Okay? Good question. Okay, I'm going to do a little check, see if we're getting there. If you've gotten to a place where you've listed all your debts, what you're going to do now is you're going to go turn back to page 5. Go back to page 4. That total monthly income, the money you bring in monthly, you're going to put it down on the bottom of page 6 where it says total monthly net income. Put it in that line right there. I'll walk around, make sure you guys don't have any questions. You're putting it in the right spot. All right, looking good. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then you're going to place your monthly expenses from page number 5 in that next section. And then you're going to have your discretionary income. So once I see people's heads kind of popping up, then I'll move on. Give you a second to do that. Okay, are we there? We figuring out our discretionary income? So this money that's left over, this is the amount you're able to apply towards savings or paying down your debt. Okay? And we're going to come back to this here in just a second. So, all right, if you haven't finished, you can finish up. I'm going to move on to the next slide. We visited this slide last week, the 50-30-20 rule. Okay? So let me review this. Your monthly income, 50% of it should go towards needs. Okay? And last week we identified needs. Food is a need. Water is a need. Healthcare is a need. Clothing, some clothing, is a need. Right? Gas for your car is a need. Insurance for your car is a need. 30% can go to wants. Want is, ooh, I want to upgrade my iPhone. Ooh, I want to go out with my friends. Ooh, I want those shoes that cost a little more than I should pay for, okay? And then savings is 20%. So what we're going to do here next is I want you, so so money that you have coming in should be broken down to this. Every paycheck, every time you have money coming in. If you Uber and you make $100 in wages that night, you divide it that way, okay? $50 goes towards needs, $30 goes towards wants, $20 goes towards savings. Every time you have money coming in, you need to apply this. Now, what we're going to do now is figure out if what you're doing right now fits into this, okay? So you're going to go back to your expenses, okay? And you're going to put next to it a W or an N. Is it a want or a need? And then we're going to do some math and see if your wants fit in this section here, or if it's spilling over here, or if it's spilling over here. So let me pause and see if you have any questions there. So you're going to go back to page number 5, and those expenses that you label there, you're going to either put a W or an N. It's a want or it's a need. So rent, for example, would be a need. You need a roof over your head. Bless you. You're welcome. Bless you, bless you. Okay, are we getting there? Does everyone have their needs and their wants labeled there? Okay, so what we're going to do next is add up all the needs and write that down. And then you do the same thing, write up all the wants, write that down, and then I'll give you the next step. So once you've done that, you're going to take the total for the needs, that dollar amount, and you're going to divide it by your monthly income. This should give you a percentage. And then you're going to do the same thing for the other category. Take that total, divide it by your monthly income. We're going to start to get some percentages, and you're going to see where your needs and wants fall. Did you get the instructions for this next part? So add up all your needs, get that dollar amount, and then divide that by your monthly income. It'll give you a percentage, and do the same thing for the wants. And then we're going to see how we measure up here. Are we getting there? Is there some revelation out there? Are we doing good? All right, about 20 more seconds, and then we'll, if you feel, then we'll start sharing. Okay, looking for that brave person who wants to share. All right, let's see if someone wants to share where their needs and wants fell according to our guide right here. Who wants to share? Sir, you want to share? Okay. Well, just what? So when you took your total for your needs, Yeah, what percentage did you come up for your needs? 80%? Okay, so 80% of your paycheck's coming towards needs. Okay, good. Thank you for sharing. And then what about wants? Okay. Is it pretty much the rest? Okay. All right. How about someone else? That's good. I mean, it is what it is. That's not good or bad. That's why we're doing this, to figure out. The next section will help us to figure out how can we reduce that to 50%. So that's what this is about. Who else wants to share? Oh, it's quiet out there. That's okay. We're here to learn together. This gentleman was brave and shared. Who else? Anyone else? Did anyone? Oh, yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay. All right. I see that we're going to need to find ways to cut some expenses. Is that fair to say? Yes? All right. I won't make anyone else share. Okay. So let's talk about on the next page. Let's turn the page in your book here. And now we are on page 8. Cutting your expenses is an important way to free up funds so that you can reach your savings goals. Take a moment to brainstorm areas where you may be able to trim some expenses. And this is overall. This is needs and wants. Okay? So for those of you that your needs exceeded the 50%, what can you do to trim that down? So when we were here last week, we talked about, do I need this apartment that I'm in? It's nice, but man, I could get that apartment and it's nicer. But that's going to move my needs from 50% to 70%. So maybe we need to relocate, right? Maybe you look at it like, oh, it all looks it looks good. My car insurance seems like I'm spending too much. You need that, but maybe you're spending too much on car insurance. Maybe you need to shop around. Okay? Mm-hmm. Do you have a question? That's a little complicated to answer. So here's what I'll tell you that I know. I mean, I don't, we don't do insurance, but from life experience, I have a 26-year-old and a 25-year-old boys, okay? So here's what I do know. Car insurance for young men is more expensive. Why? Men, can we answer that? Because we tend to be a little more reckless. We speed more, and generally, men probably don't want to hear this, women generally are better drivers, so they get better rates, okay? Hey, that's statistics. That's not my opinion. Sir, wait a minute. You and I, okay, anyways, we won't get into your car situation now, will we? Okay, very good. Okay, very good. So it depends, but you know what we all have? See this right here? Look at this old man teaching y'all something. Look at this. How much does the average car insurance for how old are you? I'm not Googling it, but I'm just pretending. For a 24-year-old. And then it'll give you kind of, it'll give you an idea of what you should be paying. So does anyone here pay their own car insurance? Okay. When's the last time you had your insurance person look at it? Never? Hey, that's okay. That's why we're doing this. Here's what I would tell you. That car insurance person may be a friend of your parents, may be your personal friend, but it's probably a good idea to shop around. Okay? So they may be your friend and you want to be loyal to them. I'm guilty of this as well. But at the end of the day, we're not doing their budget. We're doing your budget, right? So if you annually, you should look at your car insurance. So that's my recommendation. Shop around. Get some quotes. Just don't take the first one. Okay. So has anyone want to share where they can cut some expenses? Yes. Eating out. Okay, very good, very good. We talked about this last week, eating out. Mm. So that's good. I like that, right? Because you can't eat out wisely, right? And, my wife and I, what we do, this is what old people do. You'll do it too. Trust me. You'll be like, oh, yeah, Hector talked about that all those years ago. You start sharing meals. Right? That's what old people do. So a lot of times we'll go out to eat, but we'll share a meal. I mean, let's face it. Plates that you get at these places, they're huge, right? So you could pick a different menu item. You can share. Did you want to share something? Oh, did you? Okay. Anyone else? What else did you figure out you can cut? We talked about subscriptions. Do you need all those? Well, okay, we clearly didn't get through the needs versus wants, okay? So someone said, yeah, but hey, can you pause some of those? Yes, I just paused my Hulu today. I was doing my weekly spending plan, and I was reviewing bills that come through, and I saw they're fixing to charge me for Hulu. We haven't used that in 2 months. I went over there, pause. They're not charging me now. I didn't cancel it because I may restart it, so I paused it for like 18 months or something like that. So you can do that. What else? Come on, this is where the learning is going to come in. All right, you're going to make me get down here. All right. What else? Where else are we going to cut some expenses? Okay. Did you hear that? A storage unit? I hate storage units. Well, let's talk it out. Go ahead. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for being honest. Sometimes we just don't want to deal with it. Remember what it said earlier? Sometimes we just don't want to deal with it. It's fine. How much do you pay a month for that, if I may ask? Okay. Hey, thank you for sharing that, okay? But look, you just found $100 plus the furniture you're going to sell, right? So, and we've talked about some things. That'll be helpful for some of the things you and I have talked about personally. See? Okay, storage unit. I hate them because you just put stuff in there that you're probably never going to use again. Okay? Man, all right. Now, what else? Sir. See, now people, okay, who's like, right now, who's going like, okay, all right, whatever, tollways. But seriously, right? If you drive from Denton to south of Fort Worth, do you know how much that is? That's like $7. Yeah. But see, now we're starting to find money. Now we're starting to find some money. All right, let's keep going. What else? Yes. So, and let's be honest, Planet Fitness, come on. Okay, so, but you don't use it, right? Cancel it. That brings up a good one. Is a gym membership, is that a need or a... Okay. So here's... All right, see? Now we're getting some conversation. All right, let's bring it back to me. All right, sir, just bring it back to me, please. So this is a good time. I like bringing that one up because, for me personally, to me, that's a need. I need that for my spiritual well-being, my health, so on and so forth. But that means I got to have everything else in order so it can fit in there. Okay? So can I share a little bit? Forever, I wanted to do CrossFit. I just couldn't do it because it's expensive. Just could not do it. But the reason I was spending time in my spending plan was like, I I wonder if I could cut some other place so I could go try it out for a month. And I went and I started looking at our eating out, and I found out that we weren't sharing meals anymore. Okay? So 3 nights of eating out, that's 1 month at that gym. And so I was like, oh, I can make that sacrifice. You know what I mean? So I can make that sacrifice. So that's how you use your spending plan. That's good. Does anyone else want to share anything else they found out? How about groceries? Let's talk about groceries. That's a need. You gotta have groceries. You don't need the snacks because you're just gonna eat them, right? So you don't need the snacks. Sir in the back, did you want to participate? Ah, that is the truth. So, do you ever go hungry to the grocery store? No. Yes, you do, but no, you don't want to, because you buy stuff you don't want. Let's talk about name brand stuff. Do you need the name brand stuff? Look. It depends, right? It depends. There's some stuff I'm not buying name brand stuff. I need some, like, toilet paper. Come on. Like, we need the real stuff on the toilet paper, right? So, yeah, we don't need any of that cheap stuff. Peanut butter? Okay. All right. Okay. So, but see, now you're starting to think as you're going down the aisle, I'm like, could I get this brand instead of that brand? Because on this, I'm not compromising. Instead of just like, okay, I'm just going to not put any thought to it, okay? Now, do you forever have to be this way? What you want to do is get yourself to a place where it's your choice, where you choose. So if you want to continue down that path, that's fine. My middle brother, look, thank Jesus I do what I do, or else I'd be poor, okay? Because the other thing, too, about Latinos, we believe in, like, living for the day, and let's spend that money, okay? So thank goodness. Like my brother, on the other hand, that boy, he finally got a new car after it was 15 years old, right? Him and his family lived in the same house for a long time in Irving. He could afford a really nice house, but you know what? He chooses to continue to live in that way. And he sleeps good at night in regards to financial matters, okay? His house is paid off, and he's doing just great. So you have the choice to continue to live that lifestyle if you want. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so you want to have a healthy relationship with money, okay? So we all know there's a verse in there somewhere that money can be the root of evil, right? But our goal is to have a healthy relationship. That's why 30% goes to wants. We're not the no fun guys and ties, okay? So 30% goes to wants. So we put money in there where you can have fun. Yes. Oh, because we have people on the internet joining us. So, yeah, do you mind? And I'll step back here a little bit. Thank you.
What happens when prices like spike up? Say like gas prices now. It's not like the same price, and then I know like my personal hygiene stuff, like it's way like expensive, more than usual. So how do we like navigate that?
Very. Thank you. Thank you for asking that. So, yeah, gas has gone up a little bit. It's probably going to go up a little more, right? But I mean, we live in a city, or we live in a the metroplex where we need our vehicle, right? It's not very walkable from here to Denton and wherever else, so on and so forth, right? So that's what we're talking about when that 20% in savings. That's when that comes into play, right? Because if you have that cushion for when things happen, I mean, there's no really way around the gas thing. We can talk about the other stuff, but gas. I mean, no, I take that back. There are apps out there. There's one called Gas Buddy. Okay. Yes. Oh, am I getting an amen back there? Okay. So there is Gas Buddy. There are a couple of apps out there that will either direct you to where the cheapest gas is, and then in some cases it reimburses you a little bit. If I may be mistaken on that, but bottom line, there are some gas apps that will help you right with that. Now let's talk about the hygiene products and that type of thing. So finding out where some of those things, Walmart's probably a good place for those. The dollar store sometimes is a good place for some of those items, right? My youngest son likes to go to Winco to buy his protein and stuff like that because he's good with his money, and he goes, Dad, the best prices on, turkey, and, he likes to work out and all that stuff, is Winco. He says you get your best bang for your buck. So know about those things. Now, there's also, don't forget, places like Costco and Sam's. Now, do you need 6 bottles of shampoo? No. Do you have friends? Yes. Can your friends help you split the cost of that? Yes. So there's ways around it. We just got to start thinking differently about that. So you get good at this now, you can be thankful that you did this. Okay, let's move along because we want to be here all night. I know we're having fun. So let's go to page 9. I think we've covered some of this already. It's called about spending bias. What recurring expenses can you look at to see about freeing up additional funds? We talked about that, some of those subscriptions, gym memberships that we're not using. It says record them here so that you know to explore them later. And then what larger purchases have you made recently that may have been a result of a present bias? If you can undo any of these, record them here as well. So a large purchase that you're like, oh, I should have done that. You can write that down there. And it says here, for instance, can you trade in an expensive car for one that's more economical? If you went and bought that car and it's like, oh, why did I do that? That's throwing me way out of whack. So just take about 30 seconds on there, and then we're going to talk about increase the pain of spending. It's kind of odd terminology. Okay, so let's talk about increasing the pain of spending. Make it painful to buy something. There was a silly example I read about earlier today about like pay it in coins. It's not realistic, right? So, but who uses their debit card? Who has cash on them? I have like $3 in my wallet. I'm like, how did that get there? I never have cash, right? I mean, we're used to like, or we're used to paying like this, right? So, but sometimes, have you ever paid something like this or the card, and then you're walking to your car, it's like, how much was that? Is that just me? Right? So that's what they talk about, make it painful to spend. So some of this suggests, hey, for your wants, that 30% of that paycheck, take it out in cash. And then now it's a little more tangible as you go till next payday. Then you'll be like, whoa, I only got $40 left, and I don't get paid till Friday. So you might want to try that. Okay? So I'll be curious. Who's going to try that and then report back next week? Oh, okay. All right. You're like, I like that. I like that volunteering. All right. Very good. Very good. Any questions on or can anyone else share an example of increase the pain of spending? I can't think of anything else. Yes. Oh. You think so? Let's find out. So we'll have, okay, see, here's my college education. We'll have a control group, okay, and then we'll have the other group, and then we'll see. All right, very good. Okay, and then here's some on page 10. There's some freeing up funds, money-saving tips. You can clip coupons, check clearance aisles, check markdowns, buy in bulk, get it when it's hot. So I'll just say a little bit about having money in savings for opportunities. And it's not just about property or investing in the stock market. It's for like getting stuff on sale. That's when you go get stuff, right? So for those of you that were here last week, you know I like to tell a story about my suit, right? So for those of you that weren't, this is a very nice suit, okay? I already forgot what it was. It's a Kenneth Cole, right? Regularly $500. Paid $95 for it. And because I had a little bit of money in savings, I went and bought 5 in different colors. So think about it. 5 suits for $500, well less. 1 suit would have cost me $500. So I saw it. I was like, I'm never going to get the suit at this price again. So I just said, I got the money, so I'll just go buy it. So it's opportunities as well. Opportunities, opportunities, opportunities. Okay. And okay, I think we're good. On the back of this page, there's a glossary. And then we're going to come back over here to this PowerPoint. And we're going to bring this home. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about savings. We talked about the 20%. That 20% also includes money to go towards retirement, because that is savings. You're saving for your retirement. So I want you to start thinking that way, okay? Wherever you work, okay, most jobs everywhere, they have a retirement plan. You need to contribute. That's part of your savings. Now, it's savings that you generally can't get to, right? So you need to build liquid savings, right? That $1,000 emergency budget, and then the rest of it goes towards retirement. You start now at your age, you're going to retire when? Anybody? Whenever you want to. Okay? If you don't, and look, let me tell you something. I meet with people, and they come in, they're like, I want to know when I can retire. I was okay, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at your 401k. Well, I started late, and maybe I meet with someone that's my age, 50. Okay, well that's fine. How much do you have in there? They may have 30,000. And then they're like, well, I'll use Social Security. Will you? Maybe. I don't know. See, don't be those people. Okay? They're going to have to work really, really hard. And for them, that 50, 30, 20, 50 is going to have to be savings. They're going to have to make some major adjustments. Do it now. Do it now. Get in the habit. Contribute to your retirement plan. You'll be so thankful you did it. You'll be ready to retire when you want to retire. So now I tell you right now, if you have some debt, some of you talk to me about some debt and what you should do, come talk to me. We'll help you figure it out, okay? You may not like what I have to say, but we'll help you figure out how to pay off that debt, okay? You may have to get a second job. You may have to get a third job, okay? But you know what? You're young. You can handle it. Get out of debt now. Don't ever get back into debt. You'll be fine, okay? So, all right. So this talks about credit card and interest rates. Can we just say right now, are credit cards good or bad? It's just a card. It's your behavior that's good or bad, right? It's your behavior. So a credit card can be very useful, okay? So when you're at your stage in life, your problem usually is you have no credit, right? So you need to establish credit. So a credit card used wisely can be beneficial, okay? So Joseph and we've been having this conversation about how do you build credit, using a credit card. You can get a secured credit card, right? So you can Google that, and that can help you to build credit. At your age, you don't have any, so they need payment history. They can also look at your phone bills, your utility bills, your car payment. But a credit card can be very powerful, okay? So you're on the road to creating a spending plan. And then in the next couple of weeks, maybe next week or the week after, we're going to talk about credit, okay? So this is a little peek into it. But man, figure out credit now. It's so powerful. But I'm going to save that for when we talk about credit, okay? I'm not going to go into this right now because we're going to dive deep into credit coming up. So this example right here, so this person, Maddie, they want to build wealth buying their first home. Can she accomplish her goals? So you can see here her monthly income is $4,500, and then she has a student loan payment of $500 a month, credit card payment of $200 a month, and then a car payment at $350 a month. So this is her debt, $1,050 a month, right? And that's her net income. So it says, can she accomplish her goals? And we would do the math to see if she falls in the 50, 30, 20. If we follow this out, she's a little out of balance, okay? So then she needs to figure out what she needs to do. But I tell you right now, that credit card payment and that student loan, $500 a month. So, by the way, for those of you that are going to have to pay those student loans, there are subsidies out there that can help you reduce that monthly payment, okay? Now, I don't know all the ins and outs, but I know people that do that type of stuff. So you can write it down, subsidies to pay student loans, and do some research on your own, okay? So hopefully you're not in a place where you are in debt, but if you are, that is fine. And if you do have 2 or 3 credit cards and you're in debt, you need to come see me because I'll help you figure this out. But this is what I'll tell you to do. So this person right here, they have major credit card, a retail credit card, so that'd be like to, Dillard's or something like that. They have a personal loan and they have a student loan, right? 26% interest, terrible. It's going to take them probably 10 years to pay off that credit card. 22%, 15%, 5%. So what we like to do is find the one with the lowest balance, the $800 one, and you do everything you can to pay it off. When I said, if you need to get a second job, get a second job. If you need to get a third job, get a third job. And then, because this cannot be good on this person's mental health right here, can it? No. I'll answer that for it. No. Okay? So, everything you can. So, they're probably paying $22, $60, $65 a month minimum, just the minimum payment. But that's not knocking that down. That's just paying the interest. So that's why they need to do everything they can to pay that off. And then the $65 they were paying, then they're going to add it to here. And they're going to do the same thing. And they're going to work, and they're going to pay this off, that monthly payment they were paying here, plus this monthly payment. Now we're going to add it to this one, so on and so forth, okay? So we have ways to help you to figure out how to pay these off. So if you need some help with that, you come see me or send me an email. So my information is on the back of this workbook, by the way. So in this right here, it just talks about the spiral of debt. You know, if you're having to use credit cards for daily living expenses for those needs, you're headed down you're headed down into the depths, and that's not a good place to be. Okay? So use credit cards to pay for emergencies. Your debt increases, then you have less income to put towards your savings goal. It's just not a good place to be. It's okay to use them for emergencies, but you can't have an emergency every month. Okay? Okay? Because whoever is in town, you want to go to that concert, that is not an emergency. Okay? That's what your wants are for, the 30%. Okay? So, plus you got tour schedules, you know when they're coming, you can save. All right. So we talked a little bit about this, freeing up funds, shop around for auto insurance, shop around for homeowners, mortgage rates. So my office is located next to an individual who does home loans. And she had her door open, and I was walking by, and I could hear her talking to this person. And she said to that person, "Hey, good news, you got approved. at 5% interest. And because your credit's poor, you're going to have to put $40,000 down. Doesn't sound like good news to me. Right? So, and even if you have good credit, you still need to search. You still need to look around, okay? Large purchases, cars. I know some people in this room are looking at buying a car. What kind of car? How much? Right? Homes, televisions, computers, cell phones, gaming systems. Okay. So we talked about that. We talked about this piece right here, saving. So making it stick. Well, we talk about making it stick. Focus on rewards versus punishment. You stick to your plan, then you can freely spend that 30% of the wants. Enjoy it. Have fun. We talked about having a healthy relationship with money. Make it automatic. Savings. We talked about this last week. Whenever you get a paycheck, some of it goes to your checking account, and you can, almost every bank does this, you can have 10% automatically go to your savings, or 20% if you're not in a retirement plan. You can do that. Make it automatic so you don't have to think about it. Create buckets, the wants versus needs, savings, and then get real-time spending feedback. We talked about this last week. Almost everyone has an app. If you have Chase, they have a fabulous app to track your spending. Okay? You can go on there and see like, oh, we went out to eat 4 times last week. We need to dial that back. Okay, and then this is just a recap of what we learned about today. So let me pause for just a little bit, give you guys a second to soak it in, and I want you to, if there's any questions you have about what we covered today, then this is a time for you to ask. Yes, sir. Okay, very good. Thank you.
So I have a question for like full-time college students.
Okay.
You were talking about the 50, 30, 20 rule. So personally speaking for myself, I do like kind of like DoorDash freelance work, stuff like that. Just because I'm a full-time student.
Sure.
And having a job last semester took away a lot from my school. So I was like, okay, I can't, I need to graduate.
Absolutely.
So, like, I just work just to get by. That's why I said that it's 80% of my income goes to my needs. And then so like how do college students manage that?
Well, so that is tough. I will acknowledge that, right? Because you probably can't DoorDash that much because you're studying and you're spending time here with the Lord, right? You're here learning. So there's other things, you work out, so you got to have time for yourself. So that is a tough one. You got to try to make that work as best as you can. But for right now, what I hear you saying is, so maybe you're not putting a lot towards savings, right? It's going more to needs. But I bet there is still some money going to the wants. Okay? So that's kind of where you got to start to work things out. And for someone like you, you got to dig deep. So when you go to the needs, you go to the grocery store, you really got to pay attention. When you go buy toothpaste, shampoo, and all that, you really got to pay attention. I mean, you ever heard the term penny pinching? You got to get good at it. You got to get good at it. Because let's face it, there's not a lot of income coming in. Now, do you get any other help with school, like?
I got like loans.
Right, like stuff to eat at the school and stuff like that.
No, I don't live at school.
Okay. Yeah. So, but even if as much as you can to get in the habit of doing this, so that way when you do have good income coming in, you're already in the habit. Okay. So you may not hit this every week, right? So remember, there is no perfection. Only Jesus was perfect. Otherwise, there's no perfection. Now, you can strive for it. So meaning, one week you did it, you stuck to that. The next week, you need to put more towards needs. Well, that's okay, as long as you're aware and you're working towards it, right? So you're probably looking for a really concrete answer, but when you're in that situation, you just got to make the most of what you have, okay? You got to be really disciplined. but it'll pay off. And then soon you'll be making more money.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay?
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes.
Hey, how you doing, Hector? I got a question for you. So for a lot of us, we're probably either graduating or just graduated, came out of college. What is the common mistake, or what would you tell us for people who, I'm going to say the general term, broke college students, and then you finally get like a good paying job, right? You're like, oh shoot, now I got some money. Of course, you want to pay off your debt.
Yes, yes.
What is your strategy, or what do you suggest for people like us to do in that situation?
Thank you for bringing that up, because you go from your words being a broke college student, I was there, right, to then you start making good money, and you're like, here's what I see happening. That 30% of the wants goes to like 60%. Because I'm making more money now, so
I'm
you
guilty.
know.
I'm guilty.
Me too, right? Me too. I was there too. So I'll share a personal story, right? So when my wife and I left Lubbock, and I left school and I went up to Indianapolis on the restaurant business, and I got promoted eventually to general manager. My area manager said, "Do not go buy a new car." What do we do?
You think about it.
She wanted a new car, so we went and got a new car. So our credit was not good because we didn't have good credit. So we but I studied, and I got a good price on this car, but then they stuck me with the finance charge. And that started a hard road for us, because from the beginning, right, because we weren't disciplined, and then we paid more for that car than we should have, right? But we justified it because we had a kid coming and so on and so forth. You can always justify stuff. And we overpaid for it, and we were out of whack. And we were on that road for a long time. Once you're on that road, it's hard to get off. Okay? So get good at this now when you're a broke college student. So then when you start getting that money coming in, okay, my weekly check used to be $400. Now it's $2,000. Okay? It's still 50, 30, 20. Okay? Get good at it now. Thank you, sir. Yes. Hello.
Oh, I had a question about savings.
Okay.
So, like, I understand the whole concept of like saving, and you say like don't touch it except emergencies. But let's say like throughout the year, like you're constantly saving. Like, is there a number of times that you can maybe touch the savings?
Sure.
Like, if you want it, if it's not necessarily an emergency, but maybe something you wanted to like do.
Yeah.
Could be a want, but
That's fine, because what I hear is you're planning.
Right.
So you always have to have $1,000 emergency. $1,000 emergency. It's got to be in there, okay? Now, we want you to work to a point where you have 3 to 6 months of income replacement. So if you make $2,000 a month, right? So that would mean at the 3-month mark, you have $6,000 in savings. Now, you need $1,000 in case stuff happens. The other is for opportunity, a trip, so on and so forth. You go take that trip, you're down to $2,000, you build it back up, okay? But that's the way you need to think about it going forward. But no, we had talked about that earlier. It is absolutely for planning stuff out, okay? Yes. Remember, $1,000 you got to have, and then build it up to 3 months, build it up to 6 months, and then you can go and get it when you need it, and then you can build it back up. Does that sound good to you?
Yes, it does.
All right, very good, very good. Okay, I'm going to check my phone because I think we're about out of time. Ooh, I think we're a little past time, but that means it was good, right? All right. Last round for questions. I'll be available afterwards if you have any questions or you have something personal you want to discuss. Some of you last week were like, Hector, I'm going to email you. Guess how many emails I got from y'all? 0. Tim and I are here to help you, okay? Part of our purpose here on this earth is to help people, okay? I mean, obviously, you know by now, Tim and I are believers, right? Is to give glory to God. So God put us here to help you. So if you want some help, you need to come to us, okay? You don't have to, but if you need some help, come to us. Yes. Next week, Tim, will you look on that sheet and tell me? Because I don't remember right now. Oh, debt management. Yes, thank you very much. So next week's about debt management. Then after that, we're going to talk about credit. And so that'll probably wrap up our series. But next week, we're talking about debt management, okay? All right. I'm going to end it. I'm going to hand it back over to Pastor Joshua. Guys, thank you so much for being engaged. I really enjoyed this evening. Thank you very much.
Oh, come on, y'all can do better than that. Come on.
All right, all yours.
All right. How many people learned something today? Y'all learned something? How many learned something tonight? If you're watching online and you learned something, I want you to put some emojis in there. Put some love, put some likes. How many more emojis do they have? The heart, the fire, there it is. Put some fire in the chat. The 100, put all the emojis you can. Listen, I want y'all to do me a favor, and I want you, even when this broadcast is over, I want you to go share it to your family member. Share it to somebody that needs to hear such amazing dialogue. Every one of us need to get better with our finances. I know I do. I know you do. No matter where you are, we all need to get better. I want to take this few moments to really encourage every one of us. And you watching online, if you see the stream, you probably would notice that there's a difference in our stream. We're also currently streaming on YouTube. If you are watching on Facebook and perhaps you want to watch on your TV, if you have a smart TV, you can actually now stream on YouTube. All you simply have to do is go to YouTube and type in Faith Filled Church. All of these stations, oh, yeah, y'all can give praise to that, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So I want to give you all an opportunity to be able to sow into this vision as a ministry. Sowing is definitely one of the ways that God uses to really accelerate the vision of this ministry. What do I mean? For the visuals, like you see the lights, the camera, the mics, all of these different things, they cost money. It's also interesting that we're talking about financial literacy, right? Amen. So I want you to be able to sow into this. If you're watching online, if you want to sow, the ways to give is on the bottom, left and right. If you look to the left, like real tiny in the left, it says like Cashapp, $ Faithful Church. If you look to the right, like to the bottom right, it tells you how to give. If you want to give, text to give. You text the word give, GIVE, to 832-558-7753. Again, that number is 832-558-7753. We don't have to be a church that's pressurized to follow the very principles of God. If you want to sow, you can sow. If you have it to sow. If you can't sow, you can sow your presence. Learning these things is not just beneficial to who you are, but it's beneficial to the generation that comes after you. The Bible does say a good man lives an inheritance for his children's children. How many of us know that good man does not just apply to male figures, it applies to women too? All right. So we leave a good inheritance for our children and our children's children. But how can you leave an inheritance if you're not learning about financial literacy? Y'all had a good time tonight? Awesome. So why don't we just pray us out, and then if you have any question, Mr. Hector, Mr. Tim, they're here to help you. For those of you watching online saying, oh my goodness, how do I ask a question? I want to connect with Mr. Hector. We're going to have that information for you, possibly on our website, or maybe we can actually stream it on here and we can put the details next Tuesday. But if you would like to connect with Mr. Hector, shoot us an email, and that should be admin@faithfilledministry.com. Again, that's admin@faithfilledministry.com. If you have any of our social media, just shoot us a DM, and we'll send you over his email so you can connect and get your one-on-one financial literacy coaching and assistance that you may need. All right, let's pray so we can get out. All right, Lord, we thank you. We adore you. We just thank you for such teaching, the learning that we have received. Father, we're praying that this word will fall on good ground, that we will hear it and not just hear it to go home and say we learned something, but we will actually apply it. Help us to become people who apply what we have been told, that we can learn so it can be beneficial. And it can be a benefit, not just to us, but to our families and the generations to come. We just say thank you now. We give you all the glory, all the honor, all the adoration. Be thou magnified. In Jesus' name, amen. For those of you watching online, I want to say thank you for joining in with us. We're so excited for you walking with us on this journey. Listen, on Thursday morning at 5:20, we have our prayer call. Come on, y'all can give some go. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Right, right. All right. We have our prayer call at 5:20 a.m. I want you to be a part of that. That's Central Time. If you'd like to be a part of it, simply go on our app. We do have an app on the App Store. Right? It's simply the Faith-Filled app. All you simply have to do is go to the app, go to events, and you click on the prayer call, and you just click the join, and you can join the Zoom. Now, if you don't want to go through the hassle of getting the app, we understand. On any of our social media, on any of our link tree, you simply just have to click on that link at the time, and you'll be able to join in and be a partaker of what God is getting ready to do. And nonetheless, we do hope to see you on Sunday at 9:30 here at the Faith-Filled Church. Right? So may God bless you. May God keep you. May God cause his face to shine upon you. And once again, this is Pastor Joshua, your host of the Faith University, signing out. Peace.